macro. They see the change, the tone, but they couldn't handle that. Nope, they couldn't handle that. If they really knew the fact.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. And in this series, we're going to be going over Neptune in the houses, okay? Neptune in the houses. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about the 5th house. So having Neptune in your 5th house, all right? And before we get into that, I just want to remind you, if you enjoyed the little snippet song in the beginning of this video, that is my new single, Can't Take the Throne. Definitely check it out here on YouTube. All you have to do is type my name and it'll definitely pop up. And you can also check it out on Spotify and Apple Music. Also, follow me on TikTok. That's Sam_Dolphin. That's my name on TikTok. You can definitely follow me there. And if you want to book a reading, you can definitely book a reading with me. I do astro readings. You can email me at samastroreadings@gmail.com. samastroreadings@gmail.com for a reading, okay? So yes, getting into Neptune in the 5th house, okay? And the first thing I can say about Neptune in the 5th house is that this is the placement for creative, imaginative fun, okay? This is definitely that. If you're talking about a fantasy, going on an escape, going on a dreamland, using creative and arts to have fun, this is the placement for it, okay? You're gonna have a high taste for using creativity as a form of leisure, okay? So you're gonna love the arts, okay? Painting, poetry, dancing, performing arts, visual arts, whatever type of creativity dealing with the arts, you're definitely going to love it, and that's going to be your form of leisure with Neptune in the 5th house, okay? So this makes for people who are very highly creative, okay? That's the next thing I want to say, is that Neptune in the 5th house people are very, very creative, highly creative, okay? This is their form of expression, and the 5th house is what we want to express and highlight. And creative and arts is definitely a highlight, okay? You're definitely going to have a skill and a talent for the arts in whichever form it is, okay? Performing arts, visual arts, like I said, it doesn't matter. These people have a high creativity, okay? Because Neptune is the planet of creativity, imagination. And the 5th house is also creative, artistic house as well too, okay? This is how we're self-creative, okay? How we express ourselves in a creative way. So you mix that with Neptune, there's high creativity here, okay? Definitely fields and the arts are definitely fields that these people are going to be interested in, and also are going to have skills and a high talent for. Also with this placement with Neptune in the 5th house, escapism, okay, is definitely a form of fun. Now, escapism, when we talk about Neptune, can mean a lot of things, okay? Escapism can be, you know, like I explained, creating a fantasy, you know, that type of form of escape, or, you know, watching a film, watching a movie, something that kind of takes you out of your ordinary life and puts you into a fantasy, which is what we do a lot with film and telling stories. So this form of creativity, this form of escapism is definitely high here with Neptune in the 5th house. And that's what you're going to like to do for fun. You're going to like to do something that makes you feel like you're escaping, okay? Now, with Jupiter in the 5th house, you know, it's kind of similar. You know, Jupiter likes travel long distance. But with Neptune here, it's not so much about being so physically active and like traveling, okay? Could be. But it's more so about feeling a sort of like you're in a dream, like you're in a fantasy. So you don't have to be so active here. You could literally watch a movie, okay? Okay, so the escapism here for fun is really high. And this is one more positive way of explaining it. But when we talk about escapism, you know, with Neptune, we're also talking about psychedelics, drugs, that form of escapism. So this placement, people with Neptune in the 5th house, they definitely like to have fun with, you know, substances. They could have it. Now, it doesn't have to be this way. But having fun with drugs is definitely a manifestation with this placement, okay? And it can cause, you know, a little form of, like, even addiction, because the 5th house is such a fun house. This is, like, the house we go for leisure, the house where we feel free and just magnificent and we're just happy and we're entertaining ourselves. So when you have Neptune here, you could be so attracted to that, okay? So attracted to the escapism because it's so much fun. So drugs and psychedelic substances can be such a strong attraction here, okay? Because this is what you like to do for fun. You like to escape for fun. So people like this really enjoy, you know, kind of getting into that altered state of reality. They love that type of escapism. So drugs can be a huge thing here that they do for fun, and you got to be careful because, you know, with drugs, you know, you can fall into addiction, you can fall into delusions, you know, you can fall into a lot of things like that. So definitely be careful here because what you find fun can, you know, trip you up and mess you up, you know, as like when we talk about drugs and addiction. So definitely be mindful of that. Like, escapism here is definitely fun, you know, wanting to go on a fantasy, wanting to feel like you're having an outer body experience is definitely a big thing here, but it could be in the positive way or it could get dark-sided and it can turn into drug addictions and always needing drugs to have fun and, you know, being almost addicted to that escapism, that feeling that drugs do to you, because again it's in the 5th house and you find it so fun and leisure and light. Okay, so there's lots of delusional fun. Now I like to say Neptune 5th house people, you're mixing like being loopy and silly and dizzy, kind of, you know, Neptune, you know, with leisure and fun and excitement. So I like to say these people could be very sloppy fun, you know, just all over the place, but delusional, okay? There's lots of delusions. When we talk about Neptune, this is like where we're blindsided, where we're not conscious, where we're not aware, where things are blurry. So you have to be careful with this, what I say, delusional fun, because having fun and having leisure could be some of the most innocent times, you know, moments in your life, but those moments could be very vulnerable moments for Neptune 5th house people. So people can take advantage of you when you're in this state of fun, okay? So, you know, this could be like, for example, going to a bar and having, you know, a lot of drinks, you know, because you're just having fun. You're in that Neptune 5th house, you're just having fun, you're taking shots, whatever, and someone, you know, sticks something in your drink or someone tries to take advantage of you because you're in this altered state of mind. So that's what I mean about delusional fun, you know, and like you could be in a lot of vulnerable moments when you're having fun. Neptune 5th house people, you got to be careful because yes, you're so fun and lighthearted and innocent, but a lot of your fun moments could be some of your most vulnerable moments where people can take advantage of you, and it could become a fun experience to a very dark experience very quickly. You know, when we talk about Neptune, it's very much duality. So definitely be careful of that because, like I said, there's a lot of delusions with your leisure. A lot of times when you're leisure, you're in an altered state reality. You're just being delusional. You're not being conscious. You're not being aware. And it could make you easily acceptable to other people taking advantage of you, okay, in any type of way. So definitely be careful with the delusional fun that you guys have, you know, getting drinks and getting shots and having fun and not paying attention to your surroundings and what people are doing around you, and people using these moments of you having fun to take advantage of you. So definitely be careful because this is how Neptune is. It's like a double-edged sword, you know. It's very much like duality. It could be, you know, your greatest beautiful fantasy dream or your biggest nightmares. So be careful because, you know, your fun moments are some of your most vulnerable ones with Neptune in the 5th house. Also, the performing arts, okay? The performing arts, like I said, there's lots of high creativity with Neptune in the 5th house. These people are very creative. But with the 5th house is expressing your creativity, okay? It's self-expression, it's performing arts. So when you put Neptune here, Neptune's already a very creative, imaginative, artistic planet. You put it in the 5th house of entertainment. Performing arts is definitely a field that you can excel in, that you can really love and admire. All the arts can work, okay? And I'm gonna say that in a lot of, you know, this whole series I've noticed, like, any type of art works, you know, when it comes to Neptune. But when you look at the specific houses, you know, some can cater a little bit more. And when I think of Neptune, the fifth house, I think of a performing artist, okay, taking all this imagination and creativity that you naturally have and expressing it. So that's like the performing arts, acting, singing, dancing. So the performing arts could be a good interest for people with Neptune in the fifth house. You know, art in general, like I said, art in general is going to work for Neptune fifth house, but because it's the fifth house, you know, you might cater a little bit more to the performing, the more expressive form of art. Okay, so definitely something to be mindful of. Also, fashion, dressing up, style is very big here with Neptune in the fifth house. Neptune is all about imagination. When I think of Neptune, I think of costumes, I think of getting into character, I think of role play. You put in the fifth house, the house where we perform and express ourselves. Fashion's gonna be big here. These are people who like to dress in big colors, like to make big statements, like to have cool kind of themes with their fashion. Like, fashion's a very big way of you expressing yourself. Okay, so that's definitely a big thing with Neptune fifth house. They're gonna be very creative with what they wear, their dressing, their style, and very expressive with it. You know, they could really give you the big bold colors, the big bold statements, the big themes. Like, fashion is definitely a big thing with Neptune in the fifth house. So I would not be surprised with Neptune fifth house people having like a cool sense of style and being very bold with it too as well. Definitely think very creative here with image. Also, when we talk about the fifth house, we're also talking about dating, okay, and romance and that level, okay, but in a very fun leisure way. When I think of Neptune fifth house, there's definitely delusions when it comes to dating and romance. You know, you're the type of person, you know, you could date someone and fall into their illusions, okay? And fall into this idea that you guys could, you know, for example, you guys could be the one, like this could be the one, and then you realize they're not really the one, you know, having so much fun dating and not, you know, being aware of some of the red flags, you know, being, you know, being convinced that this is the person for you based off of, you know, just a hookup or something like that. Like, this is definitely Neptune fifth house, because fifth house, again, it's dating, it's romance, it's even sex. So it's more the funner side of dating. It's not so much commitment like the seventh house. But with all this fun dating and romance, you know, Neptune's so delusional, so compassionate, so emotional. So you could be very delusional in your dating life, okay? Just falling for whatever people are presenting to you, falling for, you know, the okie doke, or, you know, just things not being as real and as serious or as committed as you believe it to be. Because like I said, Neptune's a very emotional planet, so it's all about connecting and, you know, that emotional energy. And you put this in the fifth house of dating, you know, you can connect to people, you know, romantically and emotionally, just on a dating fun level, okay? And be very delusional, okay? So like I said, like thinking that this little dating experience is more serious than it actually is, more emotional, more deep than it actually is. You know, not seeing red flags, not seeing where things don't work, thinking that, you know, this little setup, this little dating is going to be much bigger and much more emotional and deeper than it actually is. Like, there's lots of delusions basically when it comes to dating and romance. So just be careful, because Neptune is emotional and it's connecting. And sometimes you know, you're just so blindsided, you know, with the dating and romance. You know, you could get fooled and tricked easily in any type of way. So definitely be conscious of that, okay? Because Neptune, again, like I said, wherever it is in your chart, it's where you're delusional, not really paying attention. So definitely pay attention when you're dating, okay? So the fifth house deals with our kids, okay? Because our kids are our creation. They're a form of our self-expression. You know, that's why they look like us. They're a form of us. They're an extension of us. Of course, our kids are different, but in a creative way, in terms of how we create, this is our children. You know, our children are created from us. So when we talk about the fifth house, we also talk about our kids and what we can create, okay? And children, and like your kids can be very creative, okay? when you have Neptune in the 5th house, your kids could be very, very creative, very based on fun, the way you raise them. It could be about having fun, but also, you know, with that Neptune influence, it's adding, you know, that creativity and compassion as well too. So, you know, you have very compassionate kids, you know, you raise them to be caring and emotional, you know, and also, you know, you can be delusional about your kids as well too, you know. So being blindsided, not being aware of whatever it is that you need to be conscious of, there could be delusions and unawareness about your children, about your kids. Okay. Also, with Neptune in the 5th house, there can also be role play when it comes to sex. Okay, so 5th house is the house of sex, and you know how we do it for leisure. And with Neptune, okay, being this imaginative energy, role playing in sex can be a big manifestation with Neptune in the 5th house. So, you know, you can really have fun dressing up into different characters and playing different roles in sex. Okay, so definitely a manifestation when it comes to Neptune in the 5th house. So that is Neptune in the 5th house. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Okay, very artistic, creative placement, and so beautiful in terms of the way they express it. Okay, Neptune being this artistic planet and 5th house being expressive, you know, very creative people, great fashion taste, sense, performing artists, all of that. The creativity, the artistic abilities here are high. But also be aware, because you could be very loopy and messy and delusional while you're having fun. Your sense of leisure could be some of the most vulnerable moments in your life where people can take advantage of you, and it could get very dark. This could be like people sticking things in your drink, you know, people, you know, manipulating you when you're in a different alternative state of mind, you know, stuff like this. You got to be very careful, because you could get very sloppy here, because you find this escapism so much fun and you're not paying attention. So be careful with that. But Neptune is such a Neptune in the 5th house is such a creative placement, very gifted. Okay, and if you guys enjoyed that, you know, you can book a reading with me, okay, at samastroreadings@gmail.com. Okay, we could go forward with that. Also, speaking of art, you can check out my music, okay, my music videos, all of those, okay, all of those will be in the description box, okay, all the links will be in the description box below. And I'll check you guys out on the next video.